So the players have just finished the first year of college. When I get up, the chair starts rising again.
Yeah, that one does that.
So everybody like read the Numenor map.
Sure.
What's that?
Is this going to backlight at all? Or it'll be okay?
It is, but it's fine. The camera's compensating all right.
You're making me look short.
I'm a little guy.
Oh no.
Where I still belong. He's a hobbit.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're a hobbit then. You're short.
I'll take this.
Hello! Welcome to Tolkien Moot 18, 2022.
Woohoo!
Yay! This is the first time here at the brand new role-playing game community center, hosted by the nonprofit 501c3 RPG Research. Some of us are the same folks, but so Tolkien Moot is technically a separate organization, and kindly were able to use this facility. The nice thing is, so in the past years ago, we started like at Merlin's and the libraries. We worked our way up to hotels and event centers, and then that got so expensive because we don't dare charge for this for fear of Tolkien Enterprises coming after us for licensing. They always want like 6 or 7 digit licenses. So we kept the event free.
Well, talking about car licensing.
By Tolkien Moot 5, I was spending about $10,000 of my own money just for the event, between everything, between the hotel costs and just it was ridiculous. So we did a bit of a reset. We ran it at my house for a while to bring the costs down. We were saving up to go to Bozarth Mansion. We had reserved Bozarth Mansion, which I think is the perfect Tolkien spot. It's a 1910 two-door mansion and facilities. It's great. It was $4,000 something for the weekend as a nonprofit, and then as you know, in 2012 I got really sick and had to back out. And Michael Martinez had helped us settle it down. Luckily, they normally don't do it, but they gave us back all our money that we put down on it, so that was really nice of them. So we've been kind of limping along a little bit because I was ill and all that, and last year,
and with a fantastic volunteer corps.
But thankfully everybody's kept it going and kept going. Now we have a dedicated location where when we set up, we don't have to like haul everything to a new hotel every time or completely upend my house. This is going to have gaming here eventually 7 days a week once we have enough volunteers locally. And because we have a ton online, we need more local volunteers. And so Tolkien Moot will be a lot easier to set up starting next year. We just signed the lease on this March 5th, and it's a fixer-upper. We've made a lot of progress. There's a lot more to do, but by next year it'll all be stabilized and go a lot smoother. And so this is where we'll be having our moots going forward. We have the capacity between the trailers and the other building. We'll be able to do like up to 20 rooms at some point eventually, 20 game rooms potentially.
But it all started with a humble
In
MerCon
2005.
run in 2005.
So what once was old is new again.
And the very same module that it began, full circle,
Yes.
we are reintroducing.
It started it all. It started MerCon, then it became Tolkien Moot. It also started the first issue of Other Minds magazine, and which is a Tolkien gaming and scholarly magazine. So we're on issue 26 now, I think. Still putting out issues slowly but surely. And of course the Tolkien Society, we meet every month on the 3rd Saturday, except for when there's Tolkien Moot, when we meet on Tolkien Moot. Many of you have been here for years, but none of you have actually been at the earliest Tolkien Moots except for me. So this will be a new adventure for you, even though it was the first one I wrote for the Tolkien Moot Adventures. And it's a fast-paced, intense one. It's pretty unforgiving.
And the title is?
Escape from Numenor or Usve Numenorello.
Oh.
It is a translation. And, you know, and it is intentionally like Escape from New York, except there's no snake and, you know.
And you have less of a chance than he did.
Wait, there's no snake?
Jesus.
Can the snake.
I don't like camp steak. So anyway, on here on the walls, this is from Mercon 3, these were all handmade maps by Dr. Thomas Mowinski out of Germany, who is helping to do other lines magazine work. And these are all based on all the history of Middle-earth, as much detail as can be found, every scrap paper that has ever been published, to recreate all of Arda.
Yeah,
And they're by ages. We have the first age, then we have the
That is
different stage, the second age over here.
region that we really like.
That's an overlap with the second and third age, and you'll notice the grayed out areas. That's what you guys get to look forward to. So you'll find out here, the clock is going to be ticking. And the world is going to be remade at the end of this clock. So it's really catastrophic. It changes everything. It changes the planet from a kind of flat world to a round world.
Yeah,
You can no longer get to Arda because of what happens, etc. So this is, excuse me, yeah, to Amar, I think is what I meant, right? That's the greater land is Amar.
Arda.
Amon, that's what I meant, yeah. Yeah, Amon is no longer accessible
Nope, Amon is
after
not
this
there.
event because of the hubris of humans.
Exactly.
Yes, of Numenorans. So, we are going to get rolling here. We're here at 101 North Stone Street. If you happen to catch this here in Spokane, you're welcome to drop by. We're going to be running this from now until 10 p.m. in session. So from about 8:30 to 12 is session 1. Then we have a break from 12 to 1. Then 1 to short of 3 is our Tolkien Society meeting. And that's with our guest speaker.
Dr. Brenton Dickinson from Prince Edward Island, Canada.
So,
And we'll have our regular Tolkien Society members pipe in.
and we'll be upstairs and
Yep.
doing all that. We've got a bunch of sofas already in the circle upstairs, so we're very comfortable.
Oh, nice.
And it's all wrapped in green screen, so at least on the screen, we're in a forest woodland with grass on the
Oh, that's
ground and
perfect.
everything.
Just
So, you'll see it on the monitor, so you can just imagine you're there. And then from 3 to 6 is session number 2. Then we do dinner for an hour, and then from 7 to 10 is session number 3. Then we wrap that up for the night. We come back Sunday at 11:30. We want to show up at 11:30, get everybody settled in. Game time starts at 12, goes till 3. We have a half-hour break, and then from 3:30 to 6:30 is our. Did I get that right? Or 7:30? No, 7. It was 3:30 to 7 is our final session, when we kind of wrap up shortly after.
Oh yes, wrap up.
Yes, one way or another.
One way
One way or another,
Oh,
it
boy.
will end on time. There is no overtime.
It's the wrapping up.
Yes, yes.
I
One way or another, it's happening.
Hopefully you guys won't be all wet.
I'm gonna be fiddling with improving the stream. Right now, it's got this table. I'm getting the other computer up and running. Both tables will be streaming. So this one's, YouTube has screwed us up again, but anyway, this one's on the YouTube channel. The other one's gonna be on probably the RPG Research Twitch channel. When we do the Tolkien Society one, we'll be doing Tolkien Scholars, and we'll simulcast. I'll make it all work. So those will be coming online shortly. I'll also be in Discord and such, watching people. Hopefully, our folks from Italy and UK and such join us. We never know. So that's enough ado. Any questions before we get started? I think you're just all ready to go. So have fun.
Yay, thank you.
Now, we're supposedly having other players come in later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there'll be people coming at different times. That's why we broke it up into shifts. So we used to do it as all just one constant game, but a lot of people, their work schedules and stuff, they can only make it for certain sessions, so the numbers will fluctuate.
Where's the
Did you guys put up the restroom sign?
Yep.
Okay, it's just as you come in, you'll see it there in the lobby there. Look to your left, Bill.
And you said Wolfie is coming?
He'll come in the second half of each day.
Okay, and I've got
And
Did you say
then-
a dwarf? Is he
Yes, he's playing a dwarf,
playing a
yes.
dwarf? Okay, I've got a dwarf character.
And he detests 5th edition.
Okay.
So he's like, no, Tor 2, I detest 5th edition. Like, okay.
It's nice to be the popular one.
He likes 3rd edition, he just can't stand 5th
Oh,
edition.
3.5.
Yeah. Alright, so I got that stream going. Let's make sure I have enough hard drive space.
Okay, so you took the place of. So yeah, I should have plenty. By the way, I would like both of you to select a second
But I don't have that juice. Oh,
in
no.
case something unfortunate happens to your person. Yes, so there you go. Don't take the dwarf. That's reserved for Wolfie, but you can look at all the other ones.
We will toss this on the side.
Yep, Wolfie. Yep. Excellent. Spread those all out. You can look. This does not mean that you will not survive. However, in the eventuality, this will make re-entering the game much more convenient.
This is herbs. What are you playing?
Well, my preference would probably be to play the rogue, but I also feel like it's essential that somebody play the hero.
What that means. He's got the glove.
All right, he's got the rogue.
Yep.
There we go.
I'll be right there.
So, the healer?
Oh, no,
Okay, if you're gonna play the healer.
I'm thinking of this.
We could both be,
And then I also
we
have
could both be
uh,
rogues
journey
and
issues.
just like rogue our way off the island.
Like, oh,
My recollection of the game was that
that's pretty,
got no short rests or like a short
Hey,
rest
man.
was a long
It's
rest.
all for you guys.
And
All to make it worthwhile.
it was like my thought, like, you know,
That's
so,
a great one. Everybody has certain expectations.
Then
of
that would
what
be
they
optimal.
want.
Yeah.
I think you would really find this disorienting.
This is all the
You'd probably be more down with this than with film versions that don't reach his artistic grandeur that he has in his mind. You know? Because we were like, wow, that's amazing. And he's like, yeah, but you should have seen how it was in my head, you know? I mean, it's, but we don't have to worry about that because we're not the audio. So before we play, gentlemen, I just want to welcome you to the One Ring table. And just a little housekeeping, I do need to go over just some, so best practices of role-playing include just warning you in case there's any concern about potential triggers in the game. And so I just want to make sure that you know this so that there's consent and that there's this checklist so you can tell me if at any point during the game any of these things might be a trigger for you, that you would, we're just going to use the X sign as I don't have an X card, so we'll just use that. If you're like, okay, this is kind of really making me feel not just temporarily uncomfortable, but like I think this is maybe a little too much for me. You know me, I don't tend to run gory, but this is a pretty intense module. The following content is included in this module, usually in the context of the terrible things the evil NPCs or events are causing to happen, what could potentially happen to the PCs. Violence, player character death, combat, blood, broken bones, dismemberment, disease, fear,
I know, our
torture,
sure.
sacrifice, burning at the stake, electrocution by lightning strikes, imprisonment, death and maiming of NPCs, extreme weather, well that's not hard to imagine, is it? Large-scale city or countrywide destruction. So if at any point that is a trigger for you, please indicate that, and I will note that and tone it down a little bit. I can't obviously make, you know, you're tripping through Numenor.
Just so you guys know, this is sign language for X.
Okay. Okay. I might not pick up on that, just you know, because I put him in the zone, but this or this, I'll be like, no.
I'm gonna get my set of that.
Okay, so that's good to know.
You get back
That's out of the way.
Excellent.
the story of how to die.
Tomorrow.
I remember one time we did do a total TK.
That was the worst monster.
Okay, and did you guys, you know where the bathroom is?
With our, good, and I was not willing to turn away. And then, or actually, I guess I was not willing to attack in the dark. As we just got beat up and beat up.
Good stuff. All right, I think we're just about ready to get going here.
See, I know you better.
All right.
You too, as long as you go by.
Never a space big enough, right?
Never.
Never. I really
Again,
like.
it's quite broody.
It's wonderful.
I
Yeah,
know.
this is
For GMs, you really want the Tony Stark thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this and there.
I am using critical hit cards,
All right.
critical fumble cards.
Have you both read the introduction to the module? Okay, great. So you know that background there. So you understand that
No, it's a little bit more sugar than I
this
need.
is
But I do
unlike
have
you can see on the journey sheet what I put on there is the 10-day journey. And
muffins,
so
and,
that's the countdown clock. I will.
sausage.
It is. And on day 5 we can say
Sausage.
we're halfway there. That's right.
Microwave.
Living on prayer? Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, but you are part of the
All right.
faithful remnant.
So.
So let's
we are
begin
gonna
here.
build house rule. We use
Uh,
these cards here.
And I actually love the
I will
just the
be
kind of
utilizing
concept of
those
the fast-paced
probably
chase and race against time. This will be good for me as well. Because I know you guys also are playing as players, but you're also thinking like, oh yeah.
Tracker.
So I will invite feedback because I know that makes me a stronger GM. And I'll do that probably once each day. I'll be like, so, you know, how, you guys have some feedback. All right. Let us begin. Uswe
Alright,
Numenor.
anyways. So you're only trying to keep the same game. If you need a.
You and over 20 others have come to this urgent council meeting at the summons of the leader of the faithful in the west part of Numenor. Let me just demonstrate on the map where we are. We will not have this open the whole time, but it will be useful to you guys to refer to this whenever you need to, okay? Isn't that beautiful? This is Thomas Morwinski.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know if you can see this, Anthony, but over here, of course, and Dunier, you might know, is really the kind of the traditional area in which those who most kind of had an affinity for the elves lived, typically on the west side of the island. But in more recent centuries, they were really made to, actually in decades, made to move over to Romania. But there's still scattered people among here who kind of been not broadcasting their allegiance. And so this is where we're starting, in this area where there is this cave where this stream issues forth. And then you can see. And I will give you a map that shows kind of a close-up. But you're beginning here, and you have 10 days to get to Romania for your contact, who will hopefully be able to get you passage to where the ships you've heard are waiting for you here. All right? All right. So that's, you can roll it up and just stow aside for later over on the other side of the table. So you and over 20 others have come to this urgent council meeting at the summons of the leader of the faithful in this area. Hawk, if I end up being a little too loud, can you give me a signal to kind of quiet down? Tensions are high. The omens from the west have had everyone full of tension and fear, topped with seemingly tireless pursuit of the king's men and Sauron's minions. Not long ago, the weather used to be ever apt to the needs and liking of men, rain in due season and ever in measure, and sunshine, now warmer, now cooler, and winds from the sea. And when the wind was in the west, it seemed to many that it was filled with a fragrance,
fleeting but sweet,
He has
heart
not
stirring as of flowers that bloom forever,
not long ago,
in undying needs, and have no names on mortal shores.
rain,
The silver number.
and ever immeasurable.
But no more.
And sunshine.
As has happened for some years now, since Tarkalion announced his intention to go to the Undying Lands, the period of sunset would unfold thusly. You have heard reports that these lightnings have continued to increase over the years and have slain men upon hills and in the fields and in the streets of the cities. This has never happened in times past. Let's see here. So 9 and 20 days ago, our Farazan's armada set sail toward the west. On the day they set sail, the eagles of the Lords of the West came up out of the dayfall, and they were arrayed as for battle, advancing in a line, the end of which diminished beyond sight, so kind of like a V. But these are these great eagles that you don't see very often. And so it seemed a very strange omen. And as they came, their wings spread ever wider, grasping the sky. But now, instead of utter darkness, the west burns red behind them, and they glow beneath as though they were lit with a flame of great anger, so that all of Numenor is now illuminated as with a smoldering fire. And when you look upon the faces of fellows, it seems to you that they are red with wrath and strangely colored. So, you gather together in this large cave used as a hideaway. And the council leader, J.R.R, is now stepping out from the mouth of this large cave and up onto the great stump of an ancient felled tree to use as a platform, while the rest of you gathered below looking up in anticipation. And so there's probably about 20 of you, okay, gathered there. It is with the great heaviness of heart that I have summoned you all here, for I bear a message from our Lord Elendil, that all must hear and act upon as their heart deems best. Who among us has not beheld the wrath of the Lords of the West, blotting out the evening skies with blood? Who has not heard the great trumpet blast that our king lets sound, setting forth with his armada to make war on the powers that govern this world? Like this, there is a murmuring among those gathered about you. Foolishness, pride. Oh, you are seeing our king, the misdirection of the king and his men, and that only evil can come from this. Who knows what will happen when the armada finds what it seeks? J.R.R raises his hands towards silence. Nearly a month has passed since that great fleet set sail, and if it does not come to grief, they will assuredly set foot in the Undying Lands very soon, thereby violating the ban of the Valar. For there is but one loyalty from which no man can be absolved in heart for any cause. And that trust, that allegiance, the king has betrayed. You see that he's not glad, he's not like trying to attack the king's character, he's deeply sad that it's come to this can't get much worse. Hear then the words of our Lord Elendil, delivered unto my hands by Fidoval, an eagle of Manwë, the last that will ever alight upon these doomed shores. J.R.R then unfurls a scroll with the seal of Elendil upon it, and reads aloud. To all who keep faith with the Valar, and friendship with the Eldar, and goodwill unto all three peoples. The days are dark, and there is no hope for men, for the faithful are few. Long and hard have we striven to avert the corruption of our homeland, in vain, for that land is now defiled. Now we shall lose all that we have loved. And there's just, murmuring again, foretasting death and life, seeking a land of exile elsewhere. Yet all choices in this hour are fraught with peril, for you know well the charge our enemies make against us. False charges that we are traitors and spies, marked for death and destruction should our purpose be discovered. Therefore, I bid all who still call themselves the faithful to hasten to the haven of Numenor. There are gathered what seaworthy vessels can be mustered to bear us away from this fallen land. But east or north or south, the Valar alone can save. And then at this point, J.R.R says, heed the words of Elendil. From portents, I believe, a mere 10 days remain before we must depart. All those who do not arrive before that day will sadly be left behind to share in the land's doom. Take only what you need to endure the journey, whether by land, coast, or river. Trust no one you do not already know to be true. Even those who have not bowed their knee to Sigurun, the deceiver, yet fear him. Sigurun is the name for Sauron. And will not fail to betray us to the sacrificial fires of his priests. May the Valar guide and protect you, and keep you under the protection of the One, and bring you safely to us at the harbors of Numenor. Signed, Elendil, son of Amandil, Lord of Andunier. So writes Elendil.
Trust no one who do not already know to be true. Even those
Kiritorian looks at each of you in the eyes, knowing what he's asking of you, and yet knowing that this is our own help. Yet even in our darkest hour, we do not stand utterly alone. That the council leader gestures behind with his right hand, and a figure in the shadows steps out of the shadows behind him, Kiritorian. No one saw him standing there. No one saw him standing a few feet behind and to the right of the speaker until he moved. His dark, deep-set eyes and pronounced brow give him a menacing look, but his face is tranquil as he approaches the council leader. And they put their arms on each other's shoulders in greeting, so clearly they know each other well as friends. This is Aran, one of the Druidine. You may also know as Wozas. Friends and allies to our fathers of old, in the age when we lived in Middle-earth. Agan's people left this island long ago, troubled by visions and portents of ruin. Alas that we gave those premonitions no heed, for look, by the Valar, they all come to pass. But Agan chose to linger for our sake. I'm just going to wait until John gets this.
I think it said something here about the word,
Well, I got right there. One little piece there.
here we go. You were all members of the hiding class suddenly, mountains of Ondustar, for the northwest recommend Numenor, near
I don't have the,
Bay.
you guys are probably familiar enough with the
Not there in the northwest.
Wozas, but so he wears a loincloth and very little else. I'm going to read a little description of him so you can know what he looks like. Because this is helpful. So you can have a picture.
Okay, now,
So he stands at let's see
even
here.
in our darkest hour, we do not stand.
He's a stout, large-bellied, but very strong and agile, 4 foot tall, with very sun-darkened skin. His prominent brown, deep-set dark eyes seem menacing, except in the rare instances that a brief smile crosses his lips. Because when he's with Kiritor, you can tell they're good friends. And there's more that you learn about him as you go along. He is apparently an incredible tracker and guide, which makes you realize why he's probably been called in on this.
Put their arms on each other's shoulders and breathe.
But Agan chose to linger for our sake. In dream he foresaw our present peril and resolved to lend his aid. He has agreed to guide those whom I will be accompanying to Romena by land. Others of you may choose different paths that may have a better chance of reaching Romena in time without discovery. But all paths are perilous. The long route by land is the path I have chosen, and Agan will guide us. Remember what has happened to our brethren who have been caught by the king's men. Those who survived arrest.
But Agan chose to linger for our sake. In dream he foresaw our present peril.
What happened?
And resolved
The green screen just went out.
and he agreed to guide those whom I will accompany.
Maybe if you want to just slip behind the wall there, I think it'll be okay.
Romania, my land.
That's Oh yeah, there's also going to be earthquakes in this as well. Oh yeah, spoiler alert. There have been tremors from time to time. Remember what has happened to our brethren who have been caught with the king's men. Those who survived the rest were taken to the temple in Armelos, and there perished in evil flames as sacrifice.
Party people.
Alright, so now you've heard this pretty big, pretty serious kind of presentation. And now the 20, the small gathering of people, people all turning to each other. They're looking. Kiriturian rolls out this large black and white map of Numenor on the table before you, and you actually, I think, have a copy that you being a scholar, have kept a map, I believe, of Numenor of your own. So it's pretty identical to his, although his is larger. And so that would explain why you would be able to kind of, you'll be following Kiriturian along the way, but should there ever be a time when you're separated, you've got it. So as he rolls out this large black and white map of Numenor, you can see that the overland route that he has chosen to go will go around through these canyon lands, through the flat prairies here, and then around through the hills, skirting the north of Meneltarma, and then coming through Forostar and Arandor, and then seeking to avoid the capital of Armelos for obvious reasons, but seeking to then stealthily get around to Romena, to where there are others of your kind, and of course they will have their ships somewhere in this harbor, this bay of Meneltarma. But you only know that there's Kiriturian has a contact in the warehouses and that's all you want to know. So this is the northern route. There is a ship wing that could be done as well, or there could also be another route that would seek to go south of the mountain. But there is a mighty river. It's very hard to cross. So at this point, there's a lot of discussion and debate going on. You can choose to overhear or discuss or ask Kiriturian a question. Agon doesn't look like the kind of guy who answers a lot of questions, but you sense that you can trust him. What do you decide to do at this point?
And if you have
I'm going to start with your character. Could you actually? I'm so sorry. I should have done this before. Could you, at this point, describe your character a little bit?
Fantastic. So
Let's do that for both of you, and then I'll ask you what your character's going to do.
Mungo is a small, dark-haired province who, at first glance, does indeed look like a child. He has a buckler that looks like frying pan just lashed to his arm and a bow. He's most seen walking around just done deep now for trying times around.
rewards or even higher.
Okay. And keep in mind that you've never seen a halfling before. So yeah, you probably your character would again assume what's the child doing here? Although one who seems wise beyond his years.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a rather bulky backpack.
Very much.
Anything else you think that it would be useful to know about your character right now? Obviously, the rest can kind of unfurl.
It has been noted, you know, they've kind of been together a while, that Mungo will show up just out of nowhere and in the middle of a conversation and say something wise or say something just that would help ease the tensions of the mood. Usually something, it's lunchtime, it's second.
It's 11 It's supper dinner, sorry.
Exactly. So that is kind of what Mungo has been popping in, popping out. It doesn't really make any way.
Alright.
Right.
And we would presume that as you've fallen in with this group of people and learned their ways,
You have
you've known each other now probably for
for everything.
a year or two,
Mhm.
long enough
Yes.
And
to be
there
included in this
are
group.
1,
Great.
2,
All right. So Mungo, and then your character.
My name is Bonnie, nicknamed the Stalwart.
Okay.
5,
And,
6, 7.
So I am a Numenorian scholar, and I possess, in addition to a map of Numenor, just a lot of knowledge of
They
Numenorian history and of lore.
are
As my nickname probably indicates, I can be a very steadfast and stalwart companion, especially of the cause of the faithful. And but there's a side to me that is a little bit more secretive and mysterious. I tend to,
No, I said
you know, I can be quite talkative and friendly at times. There are times when I kind of retreat into myself and sort of ponder what my next move will be, or contemplate things.
He's not into that.
Very
So,
good. Anything else that you think that you would have learned about you over the last 2 years?
Of me, well, I have a taste for all kinds of breakfast food, like bacon and eggs and sausage.
How do you like your eggs?
Over easy.
Has he cooked them for you before? Have you guys gone camping maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say I'm late middle-aged, kind of darkish, graying hair to my shoulder length.
Very hard to tell with these Numenorians you've noticed.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, their age and just even, you've heard they live very long
Very
compared
long.
to your people.
Right.
Right. Okay. Okay. Good. And let's see what else. Okay. So based on that, let's go ahead and ask what your character would do at this point.
At this point, Mungo is going to be offering tea and little biscuits to those who are kind of listening in at this point.
Wow.
Kind of being able to really get in there without really being nervous.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so yeah, you are able to do that. You just kind of wind around, and you have a tray that you've managed to put some tasty morsels on. And so you're walking around, kind of listening in as you do that. Okay, I'll come back to you on that. And what are you doing? What is Monty doing?
Well, I followed my little friend and to try to get some, procure some tea and biscuits.
You're like, wait,
Yes.
go back with that.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you're following along. So you're also kind of listening in. If you is that kind of the idea? You're not
Yeah.
actively going up to somebody to ask them any questions. You're going to be
No, I'm just following.
seeing what, yes, and getting some food as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
it's going to be a long journey. Need to get some nourishment, right? Okay. Great. All right. So as you walk around, you hear people talking about how some people from the south who had lived there, their families are from the areas down in those provinces of Numenor, have said that the rivers, there was a lot of snow last winter on Meneltarma, and so the rivers this summer, even though it's getting pretty warm, and it's late summer, so it's really the beginning of fall, but oddly, the rivers seem still unnaturally swollen. There's been some flooding. The normal fords where people would typically cross closer to the mountain have been kind of washed out a bit, and so the only place that they say you can cross in the south is a bridge which is controlled by the King's Men. So you will hear that. Go ahead and let's go and roll. Let's do one roll of. You can either use your character's ability in scan specifically, or it could be insight into hearing. It's not so much awareness here because you're just kind of trying to listen and investigate, right? So whichever is better for you. Scan or insight would be.
5 miles.
You could also use
per
hunting
hour.
because you're hunting for
The average
information.
walk is 3 miles.
So what do you choose to do, Mungo?
Mungo's gonna do a scan, I believe, I think that'd be better for that.
So
that's
one D12 and then the number of ranks.
equal to the number of filled boxes, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So I have 4 and
Yep,
46.
and you can just re-roll if you want to. You don't have to use the dice tower. It's up to you.
Fantastic, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, I have, alright, so that's the good eye, right?
Nope.
That's bad sleep.
That's the bad one.
That's bad, that's sorrow.
That just means you get a 0 for that.
Okay.
In certain contexts, it would mean a critical fail, but it does not here.
So that's a 10, that's
Okay.
5 and 2, 2, 1.
Yeah, so, you're listening in, but that's pretty much all you can gain is like, oh yeah, that would be a bad route, we don't want to go the soft way. Yeah, that's a good way to be taken to the Parmenelos. Okay, what is, Armani attempt?
I will attempt to use my Numenorian insight due to my astronomical pursuits.
Yes.
His knowledge, and try to kind of gain some insight into what's going on.
Okay.
So I'm gonna roll insight.
Very good.
So
But there are any
1d12
places
plus
where you can make any purchases?
Right.
Do you have any
Ready?
No.
I roll.
What you have is what you have, there are no, there's no time for shopping.
Okay,
We're leaving today.
I like the idea
20.
of just driving on.
Okay, so 20 total?
Is
Yeah.
possible.
And any 6s on your D6? Okay. Yeah, okay, so here's what you find, Monty, since both of you are nearby each other, because he happens to, he kind of taps your shoulder, and so you guys kind of listen in a little bit. You overhear Torion talking to some others who were asking questions, and he says, though there are some small ships that could bear people hither, the foresight of my kindred tells me that to seek a way by sea will end poorly. I suspect that there have been recent patrols looking for anything suspicious, and of course, with almost all the great ships gone with the Armada, ships will almost certainly be stopped and searched, and almost inevitably that will include some of the Zigguraziro, the servants of our enemy. Yes. So that is why, my friends, although the land seems to be very risky, there are many places to hide. Whereas when you are on the sea, there are no places to hide. You are out there, very visible. That is why counsel overland is, I fear, the only route. But we shall have to be swift. Alright, so now the two of you kind of get a chance to kind of snack and discuss together. Yes. So now finally you get to eat. Alright, this is an opportunity just to briefly discuss what you guys decide you want to do.
And we make the bridge in time.
So,
And let's use each other's names, Mungo and Mani.
yes, Mungo. Well, thank you for those tasty biscuits, Mungo. Get over what? Overlook.
Would
Oh.
you mind if at
We
times I tap on your shoulder?
have video routes from
No,
which
just-
we leave here and
Maybe
well,
to those that don't know us,
would have been.
Fame calling you father.
If I don't be.
Well, sure. I mean, it's easier to get overlooked as whatever you are, you stout fellow. But
This,
You can know that I'm what is called a hobbit.
Hobbit? Oh, you've never told me. Is this a new race of some sort?
Well,
they will not trap.
we
We have already chosen our path.
just so I know, Mr. DM, they are known as they self-identify as.
Now, gather swiftly with your
Yes, or they probably just call themselves the people, or the little people.
The little- Okay, so I'll go with.
They- So you don't see yourselves as like completely different from the big people,
Right.
but like
But we are the little ones.
distant cousins.
Yes, we are simply just the little ones.
You're like, yes, very distant
Alright.
cousins. And of course, your knowledge as a scholar, you'd be like, okay, well now there were the Edain, so these are like the three noble kind of clans.
Yeah, our houses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But there were all those middlemen who were really noble but did not fight they did not fight in the wars against the orcs, but they weren't bad either.
Yeah.
And then there were the men who kind of were on Sauron's side. So these guys are somewhere. Alright, so you guys are discussing what should we do.
Yes, very interesting indeed. Listen, I overheard some of our elders say that we're in a desperate situation, desperate and dire situation.
Right now, we're
Being
showing out.
among the faithful,
Sure. Alright, I think we'll just.
overheard our elder Tyrion say that northern sea passages are quite dangerous.
I travel myself. The rivers, the most treacherous sea time of year too.
Yes. But there may be perhaps some overflow passings that are a little safer, but still risky.
I agree. I think going north and then following this route would be the best bet rather than separating the armies through south. We see that
Yes.
absolutely
Strength in numbers.
strength them. We may not be always able to keep up with it. But I'm sure that we can follow this path like we do well.
Well, what say you then, Mr. Cousin? Shall we make for whatever they suggest?
I am thinking we should follow the
Yes.
You see Tyrion at this point hold up his hands and say, friends, we must leave soon. You see over on the side here are some provisions to help you. I'm afraid we only have enough gathered here from our small stores that will last you not a full week of food. So hopefully you will be able to find some along the way. But there's at least about a week's worth of food. It's 10 days. We don't have any horses here. Perhaps along the way you'll be able to find more. We do have one or two ponies that we can pack things along, but we will have to be on foot. We will have to move swiftly, and this, we only have, as Elendil has said, 10 days. Yes. Yes, Monty. Mungo. Yes.
10 days of rations. That's
7 days of rations.
7 days of rations and 10 days of trouble.
Yes.
Oh, thank you for clarifying.
Yes.
I will help provide where I can.
Your assistance is very appreciated. We will choose to go by land. All raise your hands who wish to pursue that path. Very good. Argon and I will lead you. We may split into groups of 6 and be nearby within bird call of each other to more easily evade the patrols. There will be many patrols, and there is a deadly serious risk of being captured. But at some point along the way, if you are able to acquire horses, that will make it easier. But you will have to make at least 60 miles per day in order to arrive on time if you keep to a brisk walking pace. That will mean walking, I'm afraid, about 16 hours per day, my friends. We will start here in the canyons. It will be a little bit more complicated. You'll have to lie low and watch for pursuit and scouts. After we are out of the canyons, you should be able to make fairly brisk speed over the open and gentle terrain. If any of our groups is captured, the others should carry on without them.
Your party heads north.
And so you two are with Argon and Kitty-Turion and about 4 to 5 others along the way, okay? And again, you're staying within earshot. So you guys people are gathering at food stores. Is there anything you need to ask me before setting off?
Specifics on arrows, I think I have a bow. Can you keep track of arrows? If so, how many do I start with? And can I do it?
Of what, sorry?
Something like this.
Arrows.
Now that we're-
Yeah, so your quiver will start with 20.
That makes sense.
If you want 20 more, you will have to take an extra 1 point of load.
I think our recovering arrows is a possibility.
It is a possibility.
But I was thinking
In
20.
the,
And you do have the benefit of, you want more cream or is that good? You think you have enough?
the freezing cold,
Gotta get a little bit more?
exhausted people, drag along behind.
Okay, alright. But at this very moment, sorry, you got a chance to speak, so was there anything you need to ask me?
No, that's all I need was the arrow count and
Alright,
recovery.
quickly, was there anything you wanted to ask me?
No, just coffee.
I see, yes, thank you. Alright, suddenly, hastened footsteps are heard approaching from the hillside with a clamor of loose rocks and scree, and all of you are alert, instantly. In moments, you see one of the lookout scouts swiftly approaching afoot. The young scout quickly kneels before Kirito, panting, full his sweat drenching his light leather tunic. The leader beckons and rise and states, "Tanith, what news?" The lookout responds hurriedly, "Sir, there is a large body of the king's men approaching from the east, on horseback in haste. I counted 9 to 3 score. You're thinking, that's 60.
Yes, yeah.
3 score, and they are taking an unswerving path here. They will arrive in a little less than half an hour. Sorry. Kirito, can we make the bridge in time? No, sir. They have already crossed the bridge. I'm not certain, but I believe there were a few men with torches that separated and are remaining down by the bridge as well. They're cut off from that route to escape. There are murmurings of concern from the whole assembly. With calm sternness, Kirito slaps the stump. He beckons for silence. Do not panic. We have many routes from which to leave here, as you well know. The bridge would have been the easiest and swiftest, but by no means is it our only egress. We can readily take the ridges and ravines north of here down to the river crossing.
He pauses, crossing around. Looks like
How do you look at that? This will complicate the course for those taking the river craft, but do not fear. This location was chosen wisely. They will not trap us here. We have already chosen our paths. We must but act a little more swiftly than first we thought. Go now. This may be the hand of Iluvatar to speed us on our way. Gather swiftly what you need. And may the blessings of the Eldar, the teachers, the lords of the West, be the guardians of Arda and Iluvatar be upon you all. And may we all safely arrive in Romana.
Now, the scouts look
Right.
back and forth in the
Now.
direction of the group.
The race begins to evade capture and at the same time not lose too much time so as to make it to the rendezvous before it's too late to join Elendo's small fleet. Alright, so
Well, if it's only
as your
like this,
party
confront him.
picks up and in almost no time, you've got your frying pan, you've got your seasonings, you've got your food,
Hard food. Yep.
good to
Got
go,
my chef knife,
right?
my carry knife.
Lots of tasty biscuits.
Of course.
Right.
I'm almost my way in.
Okay, and did you say that you said you'll just be fine with the arrows that you have?
Yes, I won't grab any more arrows. I might grab another knife if I can grab a knife, just in case.
You notice that Algon has a very great long spear, which is quite impressive. And so you're thankful that you have some along with you who at least are packing some big ones. Alright, so you leave and scramble down the slopes, and as you can see on the map there, you are coming down, following along here, and the bridges here as you see. So you're going to be going this route instead because you won't be crossing, right?
Right.
But do you stay behind to kind of look and kind of see if you can glimpse your enemy or not?
I have no desire to see.
Mungo has no desire to. Okay, what about Mani? Do you kind of want to linger behind it all? Are you swift of foot?
Do you want to gather intel, or do you want to just like book it?
Well, are there any trees or bushes nearby? or
There are a few trees down. Yes, because as you see, you go down from the cave. There's this like stream, and then everybody else is going east across these slopes, kind of hiding and darting from thicket to thicket, going across the north slopes above this valley. So if you want, you can kind of try to discern where how far your pursuers are behind you if you want to.
Yes, can I do that?
Sure.
Can I join each
Okay,
one?
so you're kind of following the group, but you're kind of keeping an eye on.
Once I realize that my companion has either stalls or not, I always
He's standing behind a tree, yeah.
right. So I'll go ahead and use my natural art of disappearing to kind of hide where I can, keep an eye where I
Right.
is, but kind of keep where I can see them.
Yes,
as they're going.
yes, very good. So you see that within really only probably 20 minutes or so, in the last time while you guys were getting ready and leaving, you do see there is a group of indeed, it looks about 3 score. Your ability as a scholar helps you to be good at counting. And you estimate about 54 actually, so he was a little off by 6. Men and women arriving at the camp, mere minutes behind you. You see mostly soldier types of the king's men who they're seriously good fighters. They're not slouches. But they have with them 4 of the Zigguratzirim, 2 priests and 2 priestesses. While they're not wearing like lots of chainmail or anything, you know that is a huge, because while you've never had direct encounters with them, there are plenty of chilling rumors about what they can do, because they're hooked up to the dark powers, as worshippers more of. So they're just kind of milling around, and you think they're looking. They've got some trackers with them, some scouts. That's all that you can find. So ready to go?
Yes.
Okay.
So
All right. So you kind of quickly, quietly crouching down. You catch up with the main party. As he comes past you, what do you do?
He was at 50. I will give him a tap, let him know that he's not alone.
Suddenly, to your side, there appears your small friend Mungo. And what do you tell him? Anything?
Alright, now, he's 120 feet down the
Alright.
trail.
All right. So you were on the way.
gotta do it on my-
Yeah. Great.
Let's go.
Okay,
So the raiding party quickly climbed up the ravine and was checking out the site. Because the King's Men will be able to track with little difficulty, the obvious trail your group is left behind with the few horses and of course the size of your group. The only hope of course would be that with the crossing and recrossing of tracks, maybe it might delay them a little. So your party scrambles down the ridgeline. You eventually make it to the river, as you can see on the map, where a ford is available to the southern side, though it is rather deep and cold. Monty, you are somewhat concerned about your friend Mungo because of it being deep. Do you have any advice for him, or do you have an idea that you want to propose as you're both standing on the shore and the group is starting to kind of, well, 4 groups of like 6 people are kind of starting to make their way across, and they're just about to lead the 2 ponies into the water.
+2. So it's 8 just.
One will look over at the ponies.
okay, so we've got 8, right?
Hold that.
Multiply that by
I'm gonna grab a hold of that. I can't.
car.
Yes, that's what I'm like.
Yeah, no sneak attack.
Yeah.
But,
If
you
I
have,
ride you upon my back,
what's 8 times?
I would hold on to you.
can you pick it back upon me? Alright.
You said 24
Okay.
damage.
That will require an athletics roll for you.
Okay. No, that ain't
Yep. Now you are rather tall, so that will help you.
Yeah.
But the athletics roll, just so you know, in luring 2.0, it really simplified targets.
So,
Your target, for whatever skill you're attempting, will, unless there is some kind of modifier I need to introduce, will always be the number at the top. In this case, strength.
target number.
Yep. So you'll see that the rating, strength rating, is your actual strength score, and then I subtract that from 18 because this is basically a con. If we were doing a campaign, it would be subtract from 20, but to kind of help you out a little bit. So you're going to roll against that target, and you in this case, you have to also roll athletics to hold on to
Hold
it.
on.
Alright, well, I'm gonna shoot with my bow.
I got it.
And if he's blind, does that mean I have advantage?
No.
Well, I was thinking so I had advantage anyway.
And I'm going to give you a bonus because you're holding on to him and he's doing most of the work. So I'll give you a +2 modifier to your roll. What did you roll?
26 with a great success.
Oh, wow. Okay, so with your great success means that you're able even to kind of keep one arm firmly attached to Mungo so as not to let it drift away. What did you roll?
I rolled again a star on eye on this one. However, I did get a 6 on this one.
Yes.
And
What's your
then,
total?
so the total is 6, 6, 7, so 13. Yeah.
Okay, so and against your strength?
Strength is 16.
Yeah. So you about halfway across the river, you start to.
shot him in the
Oh,
back,
sorry. Go ahead.
and he falls completely forward,
We can stop.
appearing to be
Oh, question.
Yes.
So you roll Sauron.
What's that?
So you rolled the Sauron eye, right?
Yes.
So that means a 0.
It's a 0.
It doesn't cancel out with everything else.
It does not cancel out only on certain. So if it's a corruption test, if it's a test, it almost always means something dies.
Gotcha.
If it's a common skill roll, it just means a 0. And I, in first edition, I was playing hardcore.
Oh, you were, yeah.
It was my misunderstanding when I first started playing Tor that the Saranai meant automatic failure, like a 1, but it's not.
Oh, I'm glad that
And
is not the case.
actually, Francesco corrected me on this, where he said, "No, it's never been that way."
Yeah, no, that was us doing a D&D-ism.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
So,
glad that that's the case, because otherwise.
yeah, poor Anthony played many a session with me where I'm like, "Oh, the Saranai."
You subjected us to some
Yes.
tortures.
Yes,
It's a house rule.
exactly. So I mean, obviously, if it becomes too easy, then that's something. Okay, so halfway through across the river, you find yourself, oh, the current's pulling you away. But with the strong arm of, Mane, Mane was able to pull on and grab you and keep you with him across till you both emerge dripping wet on the other side.
Thank you. We're not gonna make them without you.
Thankfully, your pack has been waterproofed enough
Yeah.
that, or at least water resistant. It's okay. Nothing was damaged.
Fantastic. Didn't lose any arrows. They were held
Everything.
and
Yep. It is a warm summer or late summer, early fall day, so everything kind of dries out pretty quickly while you're working.
What time of day is it?
So it's about,
Okay, cool. Then you start. Go forward.
but no time to stop to eat, unfortunately. All right.
We ate before we left.
And actually, I might have been speaking. I better double check on the timing. I might have been speaking a little bit prematurely. Let me get you an actual
Okay.
time stamp on this.
Find the head and cut it off.
Right. Actually, it was at 9 o'clock. Which made sense that he would have. His speech, because the plan was always to leave that day as day 1. And so you guys are. By the time you cross the river, it's getting close to 10 o'clock. So it's a little bit before you. All right. So you made it across the river, and as you then kind of wait for the others, you follow Turion and Agan as they find the best route along the area. Your party finds the road and then heads northeast. And there are 2 horsemen that you forgot in the county that they do have 2 horsemen as kind of scouts, and these guys are actually in the rear to keep an eye out for pursuit. So you don't have to worry about keeping an eye on it. They will kind of keep the group updated on that. And again, you're split up into small groups, but you're within earshot of each other. All right. So. You're kind of going through canyon. Canyon's a little bit, makes you a little nervous because you know that you can't see around you super well, but there's no signs from the scouts ahead or behind of any groups that are getting close to you, but you know that you, from time to time, one of the riders comes up to Kiriturian and gives them reports that they have found your tracks and that you crossed the river and have evaded the bridge. And so they have to double back to cross the bridge, but it appears that they are probably less than half a day behind you because, of course, you got away not long before the bridge did delay them a little bit. So you know from your knowledge as a scholar that it will take you at least 2 days before you leave the canyons. And this is, you just know because the road going up and down and going through areas that at this point you're kind of having to go more slowly. And so that the canyons and hills you're not going to be going. It's about an hour since we began, so
Thank you.
we just have to be quiet because
Can I eat my coffee up?
that is a good question. That's actually a metal cup, so I would be careful using that cup. I think the microwave might be disruptive to the other group. You can wait till they're.
No, it's fine.
Is it okay?
So can I eat this?
I'm just asking if he has another cup you can pour that into because I think it's.
Anything you can do
There
about
should
it?
be.
No. And they're thinking they're starting off in sausage and
Coffee
it's
is
just gonna be,
What do you mean?
I think we're just set up for PPK right away or.
Yeah.
That's just the story.
So, you are moving forward, and I need perception checks, but not with disadvantage because you have a whole bunch of people.
Okay.
7.
14.
Okay. The horse riders in the back come up, and they say, "The military scouts looks like coming from are 4 of them on foot. What should we do?"
Run. Yep, we need to run.
Okay.
If we can throw them off our trails and not that'd be best, but we shouldn't dare them longer than we need to. We just had one lone scout and we needed to take him out so quickly.
You bet.
Getting a little bit spooked. So, you have the additional people, some of the people that didn't get dumped as much as you take control of the horses, and you guys are running along the path. After about a half an hour, you have left them behind.
Okay. You guys have a chance to stretch your legs there? Yep. Okay. Just 30 seconds. I
Do
think
not
should be
know whether or not
good to
they
go.
have spotted you or not. The scouts that are about 30 minutes behind when you start running.
All right. Let's go ahead and get things back out.
Okay.
Yeah, almost tripped. That's okay.
I think we could try and make a cross trail
They
someplace.
want us to pick up a copy.
Oh,
Yeah.
So, you notice that the clouds are getting more and more overcast.
Well, actually,
It's getting
so
darker,
you have people to help you.
and indeed, pretty soon you see these rain clouds coming through. So you're putting your hoods over, and actually, sure enough, the wind blows up and it's cold, and it just feels cold. And so the rain starts coming down at first lightly, and then in these big sheets of rain, you're just getting soaked to the bone. And actually, you're hearing some rumbles in the clouds above,
So you're
and hail. You start feeling hail coming down, and they're not very large though. They're just momentary, and then they kind of stops for a little while. More rumbling.
Rain coming down.
A bolt of lightning comes down and hits a tree just above you on the ridge, splitting this large oak tree in half. Sparks exploding, and the horses kind of shy away. But then the rain kind of slows down a little bit, but it's made the road a bit muddy. And then the clouds kind of seem to roll off a bit, and the sun doesn't come out, but the storm has passed you by, and it's continuing east. Yes. Each day of travel, we will have to make a travel roll, and if you fail a travel roll, you will gain 1 fatigue, which isn't a lot, but that adds to your load, and after 10 days, if you were to fail all 10, you're going to be pretty weary. But we don't have to roll that yet. Okay, so you still have a lot of energy, but with the breakfast on the way, you're hopefully able to keep on trucking. But you fear that these lightning strikes are probably causing more damage and havoc further east, even as you've heard stories that this is not necessarily just a natural storm, but it's a sign of how bad things have become, and really the fact that you're no longer protected at this island was called a land of gift, but now you feel like it's a land of curse. As you travel through this kind of dim, cloudy day with occasional red lights from when the sun does come through, it's kind of a strange light. Yes?
I'd like to pick up a walking stick at this point. I'm small.
Yeah.
I do not have a walking stick to pick them up. So
Roll
I'm-
scan. Let's see how good of a walking stick you find.
I'm down for
This
that.
could actually make a difference.
Scan.
Never once indicate the word shipping. And it's for everyone's,
Let me get this big map out of your way. 19?
19 against my target number of 13.
Any sixes on those?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, you find a good size stick that seems to be straight, and with a few, it's even pretty good length. And so, using your knife, you're able to kind of make the top a good grip. Cool. Yep. So you got a walking stick.
Nice.
Okay. That it enables you to kind of keep up with the rest of the group.
Good.
You notice, so Mani sees ahead as the groups are kind of trying to be vigilant. You are kind of up towards the front of this group a little bit, kind of keeping an eye on things. And suddenly the people at the front, the kind of the foot scouts, they kind of hold up their hands and shh. And your group of 6 people is actually in the front of the whole group. Yeah, because it kind of spread out. And they hold up their hand. And they point ahead, and you see ahead in the canyon, which has gotten larger as you kind of see it kind of widens out, that there is a messenger that seems to be running on foot from one of the towers on the side of the canyon. There is a tower, like maybe a few miles ahead. But this guy seems to be
We want to
kind of coming from there, and he's just because of the way that the road winds, he hasn't seen you all yet. And so Agon waves all of you to get off the road, get off the path. And so there's a small gully to the left, or the west side of the road, close to the river. So all of you hide, and you're going to need to roll stealth. Stealth. Yep. What'd you get?
I've got 18 with I got two sixes.
Two sixes?
From those, and I got a greater success.
Yeah, it is, and actually that can help someone in the party who may have failed.
So I got a SAR 9 and 2 6s, and a total of 16 out of 15.
Oh, okay. Well, actually, so yeah, again, that SR 9 was just going to count as a 0 at this ability roll. But your target, of course, was wits, right? Yeah, stealth. So did you make your target?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so thumbs up.
I was like, yeah.
So you managed to get off, and in fact, not only do you get off, but you notice that because of the mud, there are footprints. And so you do the best you can to kind of maybe erase some of this, but you can't do it completely with the time you have.
Let them go on by.
So,
and
as the scouts coming down the road, about 4 or 5 minutes later, the scout comes past. He's about 50 feet from you, okay? You're all holding your breath.
Now hearing that.
This scout is not heavily armored. This scout is just, come on through, you're not interrupting. Don't worry about any time, Amber. It's okay. So the scout actually stops because he's observing, right? And he looks on the road and he looks puzzled. He has seen the fresh tracks in the muddy road, but because of your efforts to kind of try to disguise them, at least the section where it shows where you're all getting off the road to get into the gully, he does pause, he crouches to the ground, he holds a sword, and he looks back and forth in your direction, but he seems uncertain what to do next. What do you do? Do you just kind of wait and try to be quiet? Or do you try to intercept? What do you do?
What does Mongo see as the rest of the group doing at this point? Do I see any direction that anyone else? No, okay.
They kind of seem uncertain as well, and Turnian, he doesn't want to risk the group, so he's not doing anything. This is going to have to be up to your own decision.
Mongo is going to stealthily produce the bow, lock an arrow, holding it if this entity comes off the road to further search.
Right.
And there's I want to make sure that there's no way that this individual will leave without discovery. I want to give this person every chance they can to just walk away.
Right. You're giving them that chance.
And if this person gets too close, I'll aim to miss and shoot behind them so that they hear sound elsewhere.
Okay. All right. What do you decide to do?
I gotta wait to see what it goes.
Okay. All right. So the tracker kind of goes back and forth along the road once more, and then kind of retraces back to where you were, but it just seems like he can't make it out, and so you can tell he's gonna say, "I've seen tracks," and then he bolts off. Fearing an ambush, he bolts off, continues on the direction from which you came, right, back to the southwest. So he continues on, apparently on a
weren't able to
message he's running. All right, he's off and disappears.
Put my bow away.
All right, you guys don't do anything else. So you get back and
Should we hide better? I'll show you my cane.
All right, then you go
Real
first.
smart. I don't think that fast.
Yes.
You estimate that the group that's tracking
Perhaps faster than we could have predicted. What say you, companions? By the light of Iluvatar, let the light of Iluvatar guide our way.
You all hear a chorus of yes, yes, we can do this. All right, so now at a redoubled pace, everyone goes and Agon overheard you with a single file comment. He thinks this is wise. He nods at you, right? Okay, so you all set off at a new pace. Down the valley, as you get closer, you are wary of the fact that up on the side of the canyon wall, watching over the canyon up ahead, there is the keep, which you know as the keep of Adun Minulkan, or West Mountain Hole. It is a fortress that has additional troops, plus you decide what to do. You do not know the nature of the current garrison there. But you have to decide whether or not you are going to go get information or just try to create a void, which is not a bad idea considering speed is your most important ally. Okay, why don't you guys discuss?
Printed out?
What's that?
You have an extra one of these?
I do, yeah. Yes, I do.
Chance getting horses.
I forgot.
There's chance getting horses and
Let's see
intel.
where I put those. I do have a
Okay,
couple
horses
more.
would make it harder to evade.
Where did I put those?
Perhaps, yes, they tend to bigger sound.
You need one or two.
Just
Perhaps
Yeah.
it was wise
Actually,
to avoid
if you have two immediately available, if not,
I do.
so. You're going after the heavily armored patrol?
We what?
No, we're trying to elude.
We are trying to elude.
So what I hear you saying is
I'm hearing somebody's gonna try to steal the horses out from under. That's what they're talking
well, don't talk to our group.
They're like going,
You have to
I'm
figure out
gonna
their
die.
ideas. Yes.
Then
They
I
will
explained to them.
steal the horses while they're riding.
Exactly.
Right on.
And then I said, wait, they're writing? Oh, dang, never mind.
Yes. These horses bite too.
As long as they don't breathe fire.
Right?
Alright. Then they're very scary horses.
Oh yes.
Nightmarish.
No ring wraith horses. Okay. Yes. Are normal-ish.
What's that? Did I do a math problem?
All right. So you're still on that first map. If you look
Yep.
carefully, you can
I am
see
not going to use
this is.
Tower over here.
Yeah, this guy right here. So you're seeking to really, you are right now about here.
So we are going
This is where you, yeah, you were going this way.
Okay,
And this is kind of a delay, so you kind of were able to avoid evade pursuit. So now you have to decide, there's a little village here, there's the keep here, and you want to get, what you want to do, the most direct pathway out of the loopy canyons is really here. These are twisty and windy and will delay you. So you want to get around. You can kind of just avoid up to the north, or you can try to make your way through the village, kind of.
Is the village friendly at all?
I don't know. It does not have any faithful in it.
This is a little bit.
But I mean, there's a lot of people who are just
So when I drink.
bystanders to this whole thing.
Yeah.
They're not really.
Well, it's 'cause
They're
I'm
not
left-handed.
passionate in terms of supporting the faithful, or
They're just trying to live a life.
they are.
They're minding their own business.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
and unfortunately, it's they're caught in the middle.
It's a reminder to you, it's to boost your.
I don't
I like
care.
Well, when you
Right.
tip it, when you tip it, it makes you.
Trust talent.
When I tip it, it's upside
I
down.
can deal with none of
Oh,
this.
that part.
Yes, I have to be
Oh,
rather
well,
wary
you switched to
of,
left-handed.
It's-
rustic folk.
And now-
Oh, yes, thank you.
Hands offering biscuits as we're going.
Yes,
It's, I guess it's around noonish.
Right.
it is actually, and that will help you to kind of
Again, it's
put
my
off
fault
fatigue a little bit.
because I'm left-handed.
As
So
I.
to me, it makes sense.
you would love to press on the other side.
No, the idea was.
Humming a song as I do so.
It's
I'm
much
trying
better
to,
to
remember
flat
that I'm
kill
a
this for hands is what we're flat.
Any of them.
It's facing
Yeah.
down.
Food and.
Go ahead, we can roll, we can roll
It's
song.
meant to be a,
Um,
you know.
Okay.
Although,
Dopamine
and so are you
every time see
singing
it.
Not
loudly?
No, I'm
Okay.
humming as I'm offering food. So
Yeah, no, that part was my
A song
design,
that
but actually.
is-
One of your traditional folk
Yes,
songs when
yes.
you're
When you get your next level, get you one of the other, you know, those are handmade, I think in like Ukraine or.
You guys are like the morale team for
The truth.
right? Hoping to keep things optimistic on the way.
10, 3, 6, 10, 24, 16.
Okay, and no sixes on it, right?
No 6.
Yeah.
No exploding
So
sixes.
yeah, you are an encouraging and welcome presence among the people, and they all thank you. Oh yes, thank you very much. All right, so you guys take a brief lunch while you're debating what to do, and what's your input on this?
Well,
What do you, Kiriturian asks all of you for your thoughts before, because he may just choose on his own, but he wants to gather your input.
well, if we lived in, since we live in rather desperate times and circumstances, I said I'm rather a little bit wary of rustic folk, uncivilized people, and so I suggest we try to avoid the village and maybe we still try to make our way west.
Lagan nods again sagely at you. He respects your voice. Kiriturian says, yes, I fear that is the best route. We may be delayed a little by going around, but we shall leave less tracks that way. I think that is wise course. Let us move as quickly as we may and remain hidden along the north side and avoid the keep.
Well, if they're going to be patrolling the roads, it would be best if we stayed off of any of them.
And then you have,
Well, yes. Once we get out of the canyons, I think that may be more easy, but in these canyons, there are many, the land is much broken, you see, and we do have the horses behind that we have to keep in mind, the ponies with the packs. But I agree, we should, thankfully, the muddiness is not so bad here, so I think that it is more rocky, and this shall avoid leaving tracks behind like we did earlier. Let us quickly away, if your pursuers may be gaining on us. So with that redoubled pace that you've encouraged them in, actually, we only have to roll stealth once to not be seen by villagers who might be out for
Family +1, right?
So let's go ahead and roll
Yeah.
stealth both of you. You want to avoid being seen. It's more your tracks and such, right?
Woo, that's lots of sixes.
Okay. How many?
4 6.
4, 6, 6.
Wow.
A 5 and a 4 and a 3. So yeah, I surpassed.
Okay, and how goes Monty?
This is stealth, right?
Yeah.
Not good because I rolled 14, whereas my target number is 15.
Right. Well, it's good that you have along with you such a helpful friend who seems to be working behind everyone and somehow manages to, he's produced a broom from somewhere. Who knows where he was packing that thing? Is that?
I
is
turned
that-
my staff into broom.
Oh, is that it? He somehow managed to craft some twigs onto his staff and has now made it into a broom, and he's brushed behind the entire group any sign of your passage. It's truly amazing. other side, completely avoiding where you possibly could have been intercepted. And additionally, you will leave behind very little sign for your pursuers. So you've gone around to now you're over to this side and made it to the edge of this map. Aha!
Right there.
One half done. Huzzah!
Huzzah! Yes. And it is now afternoon, and now complete here. The path can appear now, but you can see the canyons are opening up.
Okay, cool.
And you feel that soon you shall be out of the canyons. Yes.
Let's leave the canyon area and get into more foliage. Mungo will keep an eye out for anything that looks like something he could cook up, eat, and present to the group.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yes. Would you like to do some hunting?
Make your costume
Or do you want to ask your friend to do some hunting?
I will bring up the idea to my group. I think we should scavenge if we can, when we can. I don't think I will have the time to do so. I'm trying to keep up with long legs.
Now on. You're going to get another chance to cover.
Your insight tells you that he wants to know if you can help him hunt.
Every time you get a defender, you have to add another.
Oh, sure. Since we know Numenorians have such large stomachs that require frequent filling, then yes, I'll be happy to.
We share in the need for a full stomach.
We have actually gone
Indeed.
bigger, and
Okay.
There's even saying that hobbits have two stomachs. One for the one's for the morning, one's for the evening.
Right. Okay. So you're gonna try some hunting.
Yes.
All right. So Kiritorian feels that having gone past the keep, all four of the small groups should convene together up in the woods, off to the side, out of view of the road. But he feels that you've been able to get far enough ahead that you guys can have a short rest. And so, during this half hour, you go nearby into the woods to a little way away to see if there's any game. Who would roll hunting? Yeah.
the time should come.
Or if that doesn't do well, you can always scan for tracks and then ask somebody else in the group to see if they can hunt.
Because you guys have all those encounters, right? It is. Yeah.
13 with a great success, and I exceed my target.
So, let's
All right, with great success. All right, so you do manage to actually find two rabbits, and it can feed everyone. But you managed to get a brace of
Yes, acquire racing cunning, yes.
and they seem to be nice plump rabbits with quite a bit of meat on them. So at least the two of you feel like you're well qualified. There are some other hunters who also go by and look, and they bring a deer back.
Oh wow!
So for the rest of the people, and they have to quickly cut it up and put it into parcels, and they don't want to risk any smoke right now, but along probably next day or so they'll try to do some cooking of that. But yeah, your brace of conies easily just attaches to the back of your pack, and you get them out and everything. So when you get a moment, you'll be able to cook that up too, and you'll be able to add your special culinary skills to that. Which is, yes. So yeah, so Kiritorian says, we must not risk any smoke, but I hope to get you to another location. If we can scout out a good campsite tonight, perhaps we may risk a fire. But we will have to be wary. And if there is any wet wood, no doubt it shall produce much smoke. So we will have to find maybe some dry branches upon a dead tree to break off, so as to risk to have less smoke.
Keep an eye out as we go.
My friends, it is time. Let us return to our way.
Single file. Here we go.
Yep. All right. So you come filing out of the hillside, down the way, and just as you do so, you notice that on the road, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. What do you decide to do? I mean, your group is fully out of the woods at this point. He is probably within a long bow shot away.
Coming behind us or
Coming behind you, yeah.
Oh
following.
no, that's not where we want them.
Yes, but I mean, so you're on the. You have not rejoined the road yet, but he's on the road and he's coming the way that you guys have come. But thankfully, due to your efforts, I mean, you were really careful when you were going around the village and all that. Yeah. Now, once you're on the road, I mean, a lot of people travel on the road, so it's not like footprints, you know.
Right.
But the scout, being a scout or a messenger rather, he does kind of looks at the road a little bit, and he does also stop and think. Looks odd, whatever. And he kind of looks a little bit at the side, and kind of shrugs. But as he carries on to the east, you kind of carry on in the direction you're going to go. You see that he's dropped something.
I'm here now.
So Mungo
Mungo is going to hide on the side of the road, wait for the guy to pass, and go back for it.
Okay, so you're gonna hide on the side of the road, and what are you gonna do?
Hide off of the road.
Yep.
Wait for the rider to go by, go back for what he already dropped.
Okay. All right.
And I will motion that I'm doing so.
All right. And you two are the only ones who saw this. Okay. So everybody else is kind of going back onto the road after this guy's passed, and he seems to be safely enough further away. But it's written in a script that you can't read.
So there's
a scrap of paper,
oh, scrap of
scroll
paper
that you find. So what do you do with it?
I would immediately hand it over.
Give it to me.
And then just motion that we need to rejoin.
Yes.
All right. There's a strange kind of message, but it's written in your Adamaic language, and it says the kind of cryptic message. It says the voice within says one has become 4. The head of the serpents leads them north and east. The blasphemers follow against the ancient course of waters. Do not waste resources on others. Find the head and cut it off.
Okay. So I think that we can very easily script the.
So it seems that they know which way you're going.
And now we know what their goal is. I guess you do share that, read it aloud, and
Yes. He reads it to you. Do you kind of keep this to yourself for now, or do you go and report it to Numenor?
should we tell?
If I need to.
I think it'd be wise.
I think so, because it looks like from this message that
He's the
person, yes, that Curion could be the target. So therefore, I rush over to the company
Okay.
and read this message.
All right. He listens gravely to what you have said and says, "Yes, I feared that my presence among you might attract undue attention. They have been seeking me for long. My father, he is a chief." And so has always feared for my future, as I would not follow him in his profession. Though I know much of his shipcrafts in his work, I have chosen the way of the faithful and my mother. But he has not been able to protect me from being followed, and for long they have been seeking to know more about my whereabouts and my activities. So apparently I have been revealed, and they know I am among you. We must put extra haste in our efforts now, and get as far as we can this first day. For I shall fear we may be pursued
to buy more than one group now.
When daylight comes.
Alright, so after a little rest, you carry on and redouble your speed. At this point, you will have to roll travel and to see if you pick up any fatigue from this fast pace. And I am going to have to say that because your walking stick will be able to help you to some extent, unless you choose to ride on a pony, you will have a disadvantage to this.
Okay, how do I do a disadvantage roll?
You will have to re-roll the feat die and
Re-roll
choose
the
the least
feat
one.
die.
Yep, and choose the worst result. Nope.
Unless, I'll try it. Alright, so it's a 6, re-rolling it. 10, I'll take a 6.
Okay.
21.
Ooh.
Roll 21.
Looks like you both make it.
2 critical successes, 27.
Okay, so both of you were able not only to shake off any weariness, but you're able to kind of encourage the ones who are kind of lingering at the back. And I mean, there are some among you who are old. There are some women with children.
Oh, there are children.
Yes. A few.
Okay.
They have them on slings. They're not small like walking. They're like
Oh, babes. We're
babes.
talking babes.
Yep.
We're talking under 5 years old.
Yeah, not many. So they can kind of keep up, but you know, with the extra burden. And then of course there's also some aged people among you. Most of your group, 20 to 24, are hardy who are able to keep on pressing. But there are some along the back where they're already in the first day. They're looking maybe a little tired, but you've been able to encourage them and help them along. So well done.
That means that we can just,
Yeah. Okay. You travel this way for about 4 hours, so there's a few hours of sunlight left. Yes.
Once, as you're saying, with sunlight, as it starts to get darker, and the idea of maybe we'll be doing camp soon, comes by. Mungo will make his way back.
Do you think we should light a false fire?
A false fire?
Yeah. Because if they're looking for us, they look for fire, and that might deter us so we can find a better camp.
Right, yes.
Just a strange idea. I don't know what you thought on it.
Strange idea, yes, but it could be a very useful one, I think. Good insight there.
I would happily, go forward and split from the group to do this if the leaders of B think that this is a good idea as well.
Yes.
And you probably don't even need to talk to them. You're feeling like pretty. Again, you don't feel weary. You have extra energy today.
And I feel
Must have
empowered
been
as
those
well.
biscuits. Yeah.
Right, those awesome biscuits.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you counsel your friend? You think this is a good idea or a bad idea?
Again, let's go ahead and ease and get off into the.
You have a
What time is it?
It is about 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
About an hour since we got on the road.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
between 4 and 5 o'clock.
Cool.
Yeah, so you have a few hours of light left. It's not, again, it's cloudy. There's still, you can see rain to the north of you. It's not hailing right now, but it's still kind of miserable for, it's not the day you would travel if you had to. But
Not the best travel there.
it is inevitable. You have to keep going. There does seem to be some as you kind of carry on to the north. Let me show you on the map. North and east. You're basically following this pathway, this road up to the north and east. You do see, as it's widening out, fewer trees. There do seem to be some old scraggly ones to this kind of just south off of the path a little ways ahead.
Are those trees very far apart? So.
No, it's like a copse of trees.
Oh, okay.
Yep. You might find some dead wood there.
Okay.
Did you say it was raining or about to rain?
It's not raining right now, but you see it off to the north, so you think that it will probably be. You sense that there will be more rain on you by nightfall.
And how far away are pursuers?
It takes 10 minutes. Roll insider. If it doesn't take 10 minutes, it's fine. But it takes 10 minutes. It does. Okay. Choose one of these benefits.
5.